Hello and welcome to LFC Focus. So some big news came out in the Daily Mirror last night that Liverpool are back at the negotiating table in the Nabil Fekir deal. It is certainly not going to be the last twist in what is now becoming a huge transfer saga. I think that's fair to say. But it is a very interesting one in that it suggests that it's finally gathering momentum again, and it suddenly feels like Fekir might actually be a Liverpool player at the end of the window. There were a few interesting things in the report. For one thing, it did suggest that it was actually Liverpool, not Lyon, who initially tried to sort of renegotiate it. You know, some people have said that Lyon tried to compromise and Liverpool just pulled out the deal. Other people suggest Liverpool went for the compromise and Jean-Michel Aulas just threw a strop and said, no, you'll have him after the World Cup instead. According to this report in the Mirror, it's actually Liverpool who were like, well, can we sort of put in appearance-based fees and stuff like that to accommodate for the injury? And then Lyon just said, nah, you can have him after the World Cup. Obviously, he hasn't really done that much at the World Cup, so their whole idea of his fee going up a lot because of that is, I think, dead in the water. He's only really made substitute appearances, and when he has done, he hasn't really impressed, let's be honest. I have seen him in a couple of games at the World Cup, and he just doesn't really do anything. That's not to say that he won't be good at Liverpool, because obviously I don't think this French side is very well coached, judging from the way they play, given the talent of the players that they've got available. And also, like I said, he's coming in very late on in the games where the team's a little bit disjointed because there's already been a lot of substitutions and the game's already on the wind down anyway. So I wouldn't be too worried about that. But yeah, I don't think that's going to knock his fee up anymore. We've also seen all this rubbish about Real Madrid and Man United being interested in him. If you are worried about that, let me just tell you now, don't be, because it's just a load of rubbish. The fact that all these reports are coming out of the French end of things, you know, there's no Spanish reports saying that Real Madrid are interested. There's no English reports saying that Man U are interested. It is all just Jean-Michel Aulas and the whole Lyon machine trying to drive his price up by causing some sort of bidding war. And at the end of the day, it's just not going to happen because the player wants Liverpool. Liverpool want the player. That's the only way that he is going to end up leaving Lyon this summer. So yeah, it's a very interesting one. Apparently, Liverpool are heading back to the negotiating table for this deal, and it will be interesting to see how this pans out. I mean, it shouldn't come as a huge surprise that we are going to maybe give another go at Fekir, because so far this summer we haven't seen us be in for anyone else like him. Obviously, Jurgen Klopp's not the kind of manager who, if he can't get one player, just goes, okay, we'll get someone like him. We saw that with Virgil van Dijk. He waited it out to get Van Dijk. Obviously, if the Fekir deal doesn't work because of the injury, there's no way we can just wait it out and then go and get him later, because it is just completely like, no, we're not having him, full stop. But I think we do need some sort of reinforcement in our front line, whether it's someone who can play midfield as well, whether it's someone who's a more natural number 10, or simply someone who can play across those three positions on the wing or as a false nine or a striker or anything like that. We do need some sort of reinforcement there. So I'm not saying that we would be going in for someone like Fekir, but we'd be going in for someone who plays in a slightly similar position in terms of the role they'd occupy rotationally and as a squad option, and also as a potential first team player alongside the rest of those front three players. The fact that we haven't been linked with any of those, obviously with Liverpool we don't leak that much info, but you always expect there'd be a little bit of it. Like with Fekir, we always had an inkling because of the French reports and stuff like that. We haven't been linked with anyone like that, so I feel like it was always going to be that Liverpool were going to have at least another go at the Fekir deal and go back to the negotiating table and be like, well, how about appearance bonuses and stuff like that. So this doesn't come as any huge surprise. It just remains to be seen now whether it pans out properly. And I think there's quite a high chance of that happening, because while Liverpool will probably want to go heavy on those sort of bonuses and appearance fees and basically insurances in case anything happens with the knee and it ends up that he just can't play for Liverpool long term, I think we will go big on those. But the fact of the matter is, he's probably going to have to leave Lyon, because he said his goodbyes. He's not burnt his bridges or anything like that, but, you know, he definitely wants to leave the club, and there's kind of a mutual understanding, it felt like, between him and the fans of the team on the last day of the season that he was going to leave them in the summer transfer window. And I just think Aulas is effectively now looking for the best fee he can possibly get. Unfortunately for him, I don't think he's going to get it, and he is naturally a horrible negotiator to work with, so don't expect this one to get wrapped up anytime soon. I think that's why Liverpool have sort of gone in now while Fekir's still at Russia, because we want to be able to say that as soon as he gets back from Russia, we've at least made a little bit of progress with the deal rather than leaving it too late. So I can see why we've gone in early. But yeah, keep your eyes on this one, because it will definitely twist and turn, like I said at the top of the video, many times between now and the end of the transfer window. Elsewhere, I mean, there's not really that much going on. We heard from James Pearce that Alisson is still Jurgen Klopp's #1 goalkeeper target, which is very interesting when you think about the way that Liverpool have kind of balked at the transfer fee that would be touted for him. I think that's one where if we really want Alisson, and if Jurgen Klopp is like, no, I want him as my goalie next season, I think that's one that might go over the line a little bit later on in the window, where it almost gets to the point it did with Van Dijk, where we were aware Southampton weren't going to do a compromise on the deal. We were aware we weren't going to get him for like 60 million or 65 million or anything like that. We just got to the point where we were like, okay, we need this player in now. This fee's not going to change, so let's just pay the money. So I think it's possible with a few weeks left of the window, and maybe even a few days left, Liverpool could just be like, okay, have your 70 or 75 million, or whatever it is Roma really want for the player, and get him over the line. Shaqiri is another one who I think obviously is still at the World Cup. Switzerland could potentially get to the quarterfinals, maybe even the semi-finals if they beat whoever wins out of England, Colombia and stuff like that. So that won't get wrapped up anytime really soon. It certainly feels like the Shaqiri one's almost a domino effect off the Fekir one. You know, once we got Fekir in, we're like, okay, we've got our top quality backup for the front three. So now we can get in someone who's a little bit sort of lower tier, but will still be useful as a squad option. So I think if we get Fekir in, then that Shaqiri deal will start to gather momentum. I mean, with the Fekir deal, I'm still a little bit worried, because I think if there are all these problems with a knee, you know, transfers don't fall apart after you've done the media duties, which was also confirmed by the Mirror. They said that, you know, I think it was all fairly plain to see, because when you look at all the thumbnails for the Cater interviews and stuff like that, they are exactly the same design as the ones for the Fekir interview. So I think it's fairly clear there, but the Mirror just cleared that up and did say that he has already done his media duties and everything like that for LFC TV. So I think if a deal falls apart that late, you've got to have a serious reason for it. If it fell apart before we'd done all that and we were just close to agreeing a fee and then things went to pieces, that would make more sense. But it's got to be a really serious concern for things to just fall through at that stage. So I'm just hoping, you know, fingers crossed, and I have got every faith in the transfer team that they will get this right. And, you know, if they look at the deal that's on the table and think, well, actually, you know, that still doesn't suit us, the injury is still too much of a concern for the money we're paying, then hopefully Liverpool, and I'm sure they will, have the sense to just back out and be like, okay, let's look somewhere else now. I mean, I'd love to see Fekir in a Liverpool shirt. He's obviously effectively perfect for the kind of role we need to fulfill in the team. But at the end of the day, common sense always has to reign. And we do just want players who are actually fit and capable of playing for Liverpool. And hopefully Fekir can be that. So that is all for today's transfer update. Little bit of a small one. Unfortunately, it was just the Fekir news. During the World Cup, things are obviously going very, very slowly. But hopefully they'll pick up soon, as more and more teams are getting kicked out now. We've reached the knockout stages. But yeah, thank you guys very much for watching. Don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed it. Hit that subscribe button there if you're new around here. Check out some of the other videos that have been out on the channel over the past few days as well. Don't forget to follow at LFC Focus TV on Twitter for all the latest updates and World Cup banter and stuff as well. And I'll see you hopefully soon with more Fekir news. Bye for now.